There are concerns this morning that interest rates could reach as high as 5% by year's end. Judo bank economist Warren Hogan believes stubborn inflation will force the RBA to lift the cash rate in August, September and November of this year. So that's 0.75 in total. He was the only economist to predict 5 interest rate rises to 4.35% last year. So he's pretty good when it comes to predictions. And Mr. Hogan says the central bank needs to follow other countries and getting that rate up to 5%. Well, Judo Bank's Chief Economic Advisor, Warren Hogan, he joins us now. Warren, good to see you, but in the words of John McEnroe, you can't be serious.
Yeah, Pete, thanks for having me on the show. It's unfortunate, but it looks like this strategy of us having a lower cash rate than the rest of the world because we've got more variable rate mortgages, that it would do more damage to our economy. It's not playing out. The economy is actually looking a bit better this year. It was very soft last year. It's early days, to be fair, but it just looks like we haven't got the cash rate at the right level to get this cost of living pressure down and this inflation out of our economy. So look, it's just a reality. And if cost of living is the number one priority, this is the only way we're going to get it done, is by having that interest rate at the right level. And it just doesn't seem to be there.
Sorry, Warren, even though inflation is just about halved.
Yeah, well, look, this is the thing, is the inflation coming from 8 down to 4 or what have you is a bit of an illusion. That was all the pandemic global inflation just disappearing from our system. What matters is the domestic inflation. And so you strip out all the international effects, and basically what's happened is domestic inflation has come down from just over 5 to probably around 4.5. And that's still too high. But the thing is, it's not showing a lot of downward trajectory. It's a little bit, it's not much. And the other thing is, if the economy is looking a little bit brighter, and of course these tax cuts on 1 July are going to give it a kick too, that's going to potentially put a bit of upward pressure on inflation at the end of the year or next year. So the RBA has to be forward looking, and it's that domestic inflation which is problematic. But we'll see how it plays out. There's still a chance we get away with this. The cash rate doesn't have to go up. It's just now, for me, in my analytics, it's just become the most likely scenario. It's not a done deal, but it's just the most likely scenario.
If that is the most likely scenario, though, if we do get to 5.1% as a cash rate, I mean, would that not kill the economy and lead us into a recession?
I don't think so. I think this is the point, is that we're sort of feeling our way in the dark on where the right level of interest rates is. We just don't know. And I think what we're seeing in the last 3 months with the economic data is that 4.35 is not only not putting us into recession, we've gone through the softest of soft landing. It's really all been about consumer belt tightening, but it actually looks like it's getting better. So I'm sort of positioning this as that a 5% cash rate just keeps us in soft landing, and it doesn't give us a recession. And of course, the risk we face is if we don't address our inflation problems in a timely manner, we get what I call the 1988 syndrome. And that's that you get behind the game and you have to put rates up a lot. And of course, back then that was a 17% cash rate. We're not going to go anywhere near that in this era. But you know what I'm getting at here. It's that you got to be ahead of it. And I think the RBA will be.